Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfic. This will be the continuation of Just Trying to Survive and Learn to Love Along the Way. This will be Part 10, Chapters 18 and 19. Chapter 18 of Truths and Pain. Shoda was right. The day was long and horrible, and it's only going to get worse. He asked All Might at lunch to meet with them after school and tell them about All for One. Now they're sitting on a couch in the teacher's lounge, Izuku sandwiched in between him and Zashi, waiting for the hero to arrive. He gets there exactly when he said he would, and sits down across from the trio. He speaks without prompting. All for One is a villain, who has lived since the beginning of quirks. His power is the ability to take and give quirks as he wills. The first holder of One for All was his brother, whom was thought to be quirkless, until his brother gave him a stockpiling quirk. One for All realized he could pass on the quirk, and that it would get stronger each time. This can't be going anywhere good. Shoda glances at Zashi, and finds a small frown on his face. All for One used his quirk to gain power, and he and his brother became enemies. We believe that he stole a life force quirk along the way, and that's why he's still alive. He has killed every One for All holder before me. Shoda can feel the way Izuku tenses beside him on the couch. He places a comforting hand on his shoulder as All Might continues. He's the one that critically injured me and limited my quirk usage. He hasn't been seen since our fight years ago, but we never found his body. So we believe he's still alive. That's very concerning. His kid possibly has a mortal enemy. It seems as though All Might has one more thing to add. Although his quirk is the power to give and take them as he pleases, he has never been able to take One for All. Izuku relaxes a little at that, but Shoda knows that's not the end of it. We fear he may find a way around that. As you know, young Midoriya, One for All cannot be taken by force. It can only be given if you are willing. All for One knows this. But the way he was coming after me a few years ago made us think that he found a way around it. And if he has, he will do everything in his power to take yours from you. All Might gets his explanation over with quickly. He seems eager to leave the room. Why didn't you tell me before giving me your quirk? Izuku's got tears in his eyes as he looks up at the number one hero. Would that have made a difference in your decision? I don't know. How could I know if I didn't know? I would have at least thought about it more if you had warned me about the danger. Izuku is full out sobbing now, tearing at his hair as he cries. Shoda watches as Zashi gently removes his hands from his curls before pulling him into a tight hug. I think I'll take my leave now. Good day, young Midoriya. All Might walks out, and Shoda turns his attention to his husband and kid. Zashi is looking lost as Midoriya's sobs get worse. Shoda crouches down in front of them before gently placing his hands on Izuku's cheeks, forcing him to look at him. Izuku, you need to calm down. You'll send yourself into a panic attack if you don't. Izuku nods, trying to take deep breaths. Zashi exaggerates his own from next to him, and that definitely helps calm their kid down. Shoda gives his husband a grateful smile. Good job, Izuku. Just keep breathing like that, and then... Shoda's phone interrupts him, and he glares at the device before answering. Eraserhead. Aizawa, glad I caught you. What are you doing right now? We're about to go home. Why? I need you guys to come to the station. It has to do with the Midoriya case. Can't this wait? Izuku's had a tough day. He needs a break. The kid looks up at his name, a confused look on his face as he tries to stop the crying. I'm afraid not. His mother refuses to confess to anything, saying she'll only speak if he's in the room. What's worse is the lawyer she got. He's the kind of guy who would call an abused kid to the stand and try to rip them apart. He won't be satisfied with the statement I took, even with a pro-hero witness. If she talks, we won't have to worry about going to court. Fuck. Give me a minute. He mutes the phone and turns to his family with a frown on his face. We've got a problem. Tsukauchi says Inko will only talk if the kid's there. And we need her to talk if we want to keep you off the stand, kid. If you don't want to go, I get it. I'll do everything in my power to keep you off that stand. I don't have to talk to her, right? She just has to see me. That's what it sounds like, kid. You can still say no. Seeing her won't be good for you. It's going to make a shitty day even shittier. I'll do it. I just want to get this over with. Shoda nods at him and unmutes his phone before telling Tsukauchi that they're on their way. It's almost 40 minutes later that they're leading a silent Izuku into the station. Tsukauchi meets them at the desk and signs them in before leading them to the interrogation rooms. He stops in front of the door and turns to face them. Izuku, you don't have to say anything to her. Do your best to avoid listening to what she's saying. She'll probably say a lot of things just to hurt you. If you get uncomfortable or scared, just tell me, and we'll stop the whole thing. I don't want you suffering even more because of her. Izuku nods at the detective in lieu of answering. Shoda gives him a grateful smile before speaking. I'm going in with him. He leaves no room for refusal. Tsukauchi simply nods his approval, and Hisashi turns to Izuku before they're let in. I'll be listening from the other room. Okay, listener? Izuku nods up at him, and Zashi pulls him in for a quick hug before they're being gestured into the room. Midoriya Inko glares at him from where she sits handcuffed to the table. Her lawyer is sitting next to her, and he's got his sleazy eyes on Izuku, like a predator watching their prey. Shoda has the urge to get his kid as far away from the man as he can. Shoda and Izuku take seats across from them, while Tsukauchi leans against the wall. Deku, sweetheart, I've missed you so much. I can't believe these bad men are keeping me away from you. They better be treating you right. My little boy deserves the best. Her smile is sickly sweet as she stares at Izuku. Ms. Midoriya, we've brought him in here, so you better start talking or he leaves right now. Inko frowns at Tsukauchi and sighs. Oh, all right. I suppose a deal is a deal. She begins a tale of woe, how her husband left them when he was diagnosed as quirkless, and how everything she did was out of love. Her tale falls apart quickly when she starts describing every way she abused Izuku, down to the details of her attack almost a week ago. She's smiling, clearly enjoying what she's putting Izuku through, what she's put him through his entire life. Poor Izuku shrinks down further in his chair at every insult, and he's got a constant stream of tears running down his face. All right, Miss Midoriya. We'll send off a tape of your confession to a judge, so they can decide your sentence. Eraserhead, you guys can go. What? No, he can't leave me. You can't keep him away from me. Inko is jumping from her chair, pulling on her cuffs to get to Izuku. Shoda gently grabs his arm and guides him from the room, meeting a tearful Hisashi in the hallway. He crushes Izuku in a hug before leading him to the car. Shoda climbs into the back seat with his problem child and comforts him the whole way home. Once they're home, he's guiding Izuku onto the couch while Zashi fetches the cats. He tucks their son under the comfiest blanket they own as he waits for his husband to return, and watches with a heavy heart as Izuku curls up as small as he can. They can only offer small reassurances and gentle touches as comfort, while Izuku drifts off to sleep. Chapter 19 of Bonds and Revelations. Izuku is tired of the feelings his mom dredges up. He'd thought that he'd never have to see her again, but of course she found a way to get one last jab in. It hurt, sitting there and taking all the insults she threw at him, with Shoda next to him and Hisashi in the next room. So Izuku is tired and hurt and scared. The talk with All Might seemed like a vacation compared to his mother's words, but she hurt him in the past, and the memories will hurt him for a long time, while All for One will hurt him in the future. Of that, he has no doubt. Izuku feels like he's cried all he can by the time they make it home. It's nearing 7 o'clock, but Izuku doesn't think he could eat if he wanted to. So he lets himself be guided onto the couch and curls up under the blanket that Shoda throws on him, trying to think of absolutely nothing. Tries not to think, as Hisashi and Shoda sit on either side of him. Comforting, but not overwhelming. A gentle hand in his hair and a soothing one on his back are the last things he's aware of before he falls asleep. Izuku wakes up on Saturday curled up on the couch, still in his school uniform. He gets up, hardly aware of his surroundings, and makes his way to the kitchen, where he can hear his guardians talking in hushed voices. A glance at the clock as he sits down at the table tells him that it's only 9 a.m., but that means that Izuku got over 12 hours of uninterrupted, nightmare-free sleep. He can't help but think Shoda and Hisashi's proximity helped with that. That, and the fact that he must have been more exhausted than he'd originally thought. He looks up and gives Hisashi a small smile as he sets a plate of food in front of him, and receives a head pat in return. It's not until Izuku has finished his breakfast that anyone speaks. "Hey, listener, Sho and I have got to go out shopping. You want to come with or just hang here with the cats? You could always watch a movie or something." Izuku doesn't think he could bear to be away from them right now. Not after all he went through yesterday. Sitting alone, with nothing but his thoughts and the cats to keep him company, is the worst idea he can think of right now. He signs. "Go with?" "Sounds good, buddy. Go and get dressed, so we can head out." Hisashi gives him a smile as he wanders out of the kitchen. A glance out his window tells him it's going to be a cold day, so he opts for his favorite Present Mic hoodie and a simple pair of jeans. He brushes his teeth quickly, not wanting to make the heroes wait too long. His guardians are wearing things awfully similar to their hero costumes, just lazier and comfier looking. It's not much of a surprise, really. They head to a grocery store that Izuku has never heard of, and Hisashi scans his hero license before they enter. He tugs on Shoda's sleeve to get his attention as Hisashi grabs a basket. "Heroes only?" "Heroes, and important figures, and rich people. A lot of the more recognizable heroes like Zashi don't want to be bothered on their days off, so they come here, where everyone else is after the same thing." Izuku nods at the answer. That lowers the chance of seeing someone he knows significantly. Most of the classmates don't have hero parents, only a few, like Todoroki and Ida do. He wanders a bit behind his guardians, taking everything in and only really paying attention when they ask him something. It's in his gazing that he catches sight of him and stops in his tracks, unaware that Hisashi and Shoda keep getting further and further away. Todoroki is there, grocery basket in hand, reading the label on some cereal box. Izuku panics and turns around, trying to leave before he's noticed when he crashes into someone, and would have fallen if they didn't place a steadying hand on his shoulder. He looks up and up and up, and finds the usually scowling face of Endeavor looking down at him with concern. Izuku can feel his face turning a dark shade of red. He just ran straight into the number 2 hero. Sorry. He can hardly manage one word, and it causes Endeavor to frown even deeper. He opens his mouth to speak when a voice calls out behind him. Midoriya? What are you doing here? And that's Todoroki, drawn by the commotion of him freaking out at his dad. Shopping? It comes out as more of a question than an answer. I didn't know you're related to a pro hero. Who is it? Izuku freezes at that. What is he supposed to say? There you are, problem child. Zashi started freaking out when you disappeared. And now, Todoroki is staring at Shoda, no doubt forming some weird connection in his conspiracy theorist brain. Ah, this one yours, Eraser. Endeavor, who is still grasping his shoulder, takes this as his opportunity to finally say something. Midoriya, what's going on? Why are you here with Aizawa-sensei? Izuku thinks he could die. Anything to leave this situation as soon as possible. He is my child. Why else? Let's go, kiddo, before Zashi buys the whole ice cream section. What? Todoroki's yell follows them as they take their leave, and Izuku follows Shoda blindly as he tries to make sense of what just happened. He tugs on Shoda's sleeve to get his attention. Why did you say that? You know how he is. And that's exactly why I did. It'll be funny to watch. See what kind of weird theories he comes up with. Izuku huffs a laugh. He guesses it will be. Todoroki won't stop now until he knows if he's right or not. They find Hisashi and head to the checkout, Izuku looking anxiously for anyone else he knows they might run into. It's just his luck that they get in line behind Todoroki and his father. So, Present Mike, you finally convinced this one to adopt. I know you've been trying for quite some time. Endeavor's question catches him off guard. His guardians had been wanting a child. It makes Izuku feel a little better. He's been worried that the pros had felt pressured to take him in, even though they've been treating him better than anyone else ever has. Honestly, I barely had to lift a finger. Sho wanted to take him in as soon as we figured out what was going on. It looks like Endeavor understands exactly what was going on, as he frowns. Todoroki looks a little lost, but he doesn't interrupt the pros. Izuku risks a glance at Shoda and wow. He didn't realize the man was capable of blushing. So, kid, how long have you been staying with these guys? Endeavor is addressing him now. And Izuku has to take a moment to gather himself before he's able to speak. Almost a week now, Endeavor. The man nods at him, and Izuku glances back at his classmate. He's frowning now, connecting dots that Izuku really doesn't want him to. The cashier finishes and Endeavor pays, and he turns to leave with a small smile and a wave. Goodbye, Midoriya. Senseis. Bye. Izuku's reply is quiet, but from the smile on Todoroki's face, he can tell that he heard it. Once they get home, he checks his phone for the inevitable text from Todoroki. He's a little worried that he'll bring up what he guesses about Izuku's previous situation. A glance at his messages tells him his worries were unfounded. Todoroki is tactile enough not to bring up something so sensitive. Midoriya, why are you with Aizawa and Mike-sensei? Is it true? Are you really his son? I thought you said your dad left you guys. Midoriya, please. Izuku sighs and brings his phone out to show Shoda. Look what you've done. He's never going to stop. Shoda's cackling follows him back to his room as he goes to hide and do his homework, and to avoid thinking about the warm feelings that people thinking he's Hisashi's and Shoda's kid brings up. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 19 of Just Trying to Survive and Learn to Love Along the Way. Chapter 20 will be up next. I'd love to hear your thoughts and reactions to these two chapters. Again, I think this pairing of chapters was so great because we get all this angst and sadness that's taking place in Chapter 18, right? With Yagi talking about All for One and finally explaining that to Izuku, the comfort that Hisashi and Shoda try to bring to Izuku as well. And then, of course, Midoriya Inko, right? And the whole interrogation scene that takes place. But then chapter 19 kind of makes up for that, right? And the author did it in a nice way that it carries over. And then we get a little bit of humor in there as well. As Aizawa says, well, he's my son. Why else would we be here, right? And so I think that's really great. And Todoroki maintaining that conspiracy theorist personality. I just love when that shows up in fan fiction. I think it's fantastic. So I'd love to hear your reactions, though, as well. Drop your comments below to let me know what you were thinking. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.